All right, here we go, guys. Game number 9 between StarTale and TSL, and here we have our representative from the SCV life. It is Polt, and up at the top left part of the map in the blue from StarTale, coming back and winning a couple of games to tie things up, giving them the chance to win this match. It is Squirtle. And like I said, I mean, Polt, I know it's like a big statement to say he's the best TVPer in the world, but I really feel that he is, and I bet I could find some people that would agree with me too. I mean, I think he's right up there with other TVP players that are really spectacular, like Marine King. I think Teja is really good, but they all play in that very similar style where they have a lot of barracks early on, make a lot of bio, and just kind of use their macro. They go for a very fast third CC a lot of times in this style that we'll probably see from Polt. We may not, but we'll probably see it. And with that, just kind of outproduce the opponent. You know, it's kind of like the Terran version of the Roach Lingmax, I guess you could say, in ZVP. I kind of taking advantage of the fact that a lot of Protoss players will be teching, will be getting upgrades very aggressively in the early to mid game.
And we'll see what Squirtle opts to go with here as it's IPL4. He did hit some very great 2-base Colossus times, but of course this map is Ohana, and it's a little bit harder to pull that off here. I mean, the walk distance is very long. It's very good for the sort of drop play that Polt loves doing. So we'll see what Squirtle ends up going with here. If he's going to go for that 2-base timing, if he's going to opt for a lot longer macro game. It's really going to be on Polt, though, to kind of set the tone. It looks like he is going to open up with a 1-Rax gasless fast expand. No real surprise there. And I would imagine that once Squirtle gets in and sees this, that we're going to see him taking very little gas, or maybe none at all, or just the bare minimum to get up his Warp Gate tech and take a very quick base. Yeah,
he may even decide to skip that Cyber Core. But the thing with Squirtle, too, the thing that makes him such a great Protoss versus Terran player is that he has, you know, no qualms at all about doing like a 2-base Colossus play and things like that. I mean, he won a lot of games against, well, he beat Marine King and MMA like in a row with 2-base Colossus play. That at the time was very surprising to see. I feel like Terran players have had a bit of time to adjust to that sort of thing and get more used to seeing it on a more regular basis. So I don't know really how effective it's going to be again in this case, but we'll see. I mean, Squirtle's dangerous.
Yeah, it's kind of switched around. It used to be that the Protoss was so good around that 10-11 minute mark, and now that's kind of when they're most vulnerable to a lot of players. So, I mean, you have a lot of Terran players that can take advantage of those 2-base play, hit some sort of stim timings, and those are kind of coming back a little bit. And Polt, certainly a guy with those quick drops who's able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends a lot on what Protoss decides to do. You know, I mean, if they do go for that heavier 2-base play, a lot of times they'll have enough units to hold things off a little bit. But if they go for that Creator Prime style, Terran players have kind of found a way to get around that and kind of, you know, beat that to a certain extent by just sheer production. Now, Polt isn't exactly getting the fastest third command center ever. He's got 2 barracks out right now, but I'm wondering, you know, what we're going to see here. If it's going to be another barracks or if he's going to get that third command center. He's got actually a Zealot in his base, which is a bit annoying here, and he has to pull some SCVs. Oh, this is so good. I love it when Protoss players send that early Zealot across the map. It's just so annoying from a Terran perspective to have to deal with this, and it's going to kind of slow down to a certain extent what Polt's planning to do here, I think.
Yeah, it is going to be driven off, though. There it goes. Dead, and it looks like immediately 2 gas right afterwards. So going into that kind of Thorzane-esque build that we saw for so long out of him. 2 barracks, double gas afterwards, and then you have a lot of options. You can go for 2-base Ghost. You can go for very quick Medivacs a la Select style. You can decide to prioritize upgrades. Good amount of flexibility out of this.
Yeah, a little bit different than... oh, there we go. Squirtle going for that 3rd base. You know, his teammate Parting loves that 8-gate off of 3 Nexus, and we've seen other Protoss players on StarTale do it as well. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see Squirtle do it. And if Polt decides to, for some reason, go back and do that sort of older style of standard play, you know, 3 barracks and then going into double Medivacs on 2 bases, what Polt is doing, if he does decide to go for that really heavy gateway composition and attack, could be pretty good. It's kind of like made to kill 3 barracks, basically.
And here come the gateways now. Gateways number 2 and 3 already popping up, and we'll see if he adds on some more here in just a bit. Like you said, you know, you can hit that 8-gate so effectively. Your economy's in place. Now it is a pretty big drain on your tech. You're not going to have a lot to go with it if you decide to opt for that. And look how much the minerals are piling up. If we don't see a robo or something like that here very soon, we are going to see another 4 or 5 gateways.
And I think it is going to be gateways. I'd be surprised if it was tech. Yep, there is gateways 4 and 5, I believe it is. is.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're done there. I think we're going to probably see some more pretty soon here.
And taking a look at things, these Marines are dancing around with the Stalkers in the middle of the map. The Stalkers have had very good control so far. I've got to say, Squirtle doing an effective job neutralizing a good portion of those Marines, or at least heavily injuring them.
Yep, definitely. I mean, they'll be able to hop back in that bunker and stay alive for now here. And there is a starport already on the way for Polt. So, I mean, here's the thing is that if this attack doesn't work, suddenly you've only got gateway units and your opponent has medevacs out, and then you just die usually. So Squirtle is putting a lot into this attack. He needs to do a lot of damage with this or he's going to be in serious trouble. And we've really seen it go both ways. I mean, when it first came on the scene, Parting was like slaying Terrans left and right with it. But you know, we've seen Terrans be able to handle this too in the past. So
this is very interesting, though. Squirtle stopped at 7 gates. He stopped at 7 gates and then decided to forge in Twilight Council afterwards. When he didn't throw down that 8th gate immediately with the 7th, I thought, well, that's a little weird. Then you look back and you see, okay, well, he's going through the Sharkable Rocks, and now you see tech structures. So this is just going to be his way of staying safe in the mid-game and going to a 3rd base. So.
And we have got Banshees and Siege mode on the way for Polt, so going for a completely different style than he's normally known for playing. This is Banshee Tank Marine. This is what Nada on Complexity was doing for a lot until he retired recently, and it can be pretty good. He's got 2 engineering bays on the way as well, so he'll be getting a lot of bio upgrades with it, but I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be really tough, I think, for Polt to move out and be aggressive with this, with the amount of gateways that Squirtle has. And he's getting charge as well. I mean, charge and +1 armor is probably about the best thing you can get against the strategy that Squirtle's doing here, or against that Polt's doing, rather.
And look at that. Does he see it?
Ooh. He did. He caught a glimpse of it. He might have been able to see it on the mini-map. We'll see.
Well, let's see, though. He's going to need something up to defend for that here in just a bit, as Cloak is on the way.
Yeah, and no Stalkers getting warped in before the Banshee got there, so he didn't see it on the mini-map. He only had a split second to, so I'm not surprised. The Banshee getting a couple free kills there.
Yeah, it does manage to get 5 kills, it looks like, and actually 6, and now is able to cloak, so there we go. A Dark Shrine is coming up, but unfortunately the robotics facility is not finished up. You need to wait for these photon cannons. Cancels that Dark Shrine just as the Banshee flies overhead. Yeah,
the Dark Shrine was a bit of a surprising decision here. I mean, it is good to have DTs that you can turn into Archons along with charge lots, so I guess that was a plan with it, but it's going to need to think up something a little bit different here. The cannon does finish, though, so that Banshee will get chased away.
Yeah, 14 worker kills, though, on that Banshee. It has even the playing field in terms of overall economy, so Polt taking the right risk there.
And, I mean, this Banshee aggression, too, this harassment is giving him so much time. Look at that, 18 kills, 19 kills for that Banshee, and it's just buying so much time for him to get his bio upgrades going as well. This is really, really effective harassment from TSL.Polt.
And as we can see, Templar Archives is coming up now, and that Robo's already finished, so Squirtle is going to have the flexibility of being able to switch over to Colossi here in just a bit. But yeah, Polt has evened that economy up, as we mentioned before, sitting on 57 workers on 2 base. I don't think he's producing any more. With Mules, he's doing plenty fine. There we go, 3rd base just finishing up. Yeah,
he needed to kill that many workers to have an even economy after his opponent went for such a fast 3rd Nexus as well. I mean, even with all that harassment, look at that. There's still, you know, over 60 probes out. That's a ton. But Mules, man. I mean, what can you say?
Mules pretty good.
Mules.
But Polt is going to be on 3 base here in just a second. Very strong bio force accompanied by those tanks and medevacs. There are actually no medevacs out right now, so all this teching has set those behind a little bit. Polt's still going to be able to make a pretty powerful attack, but his combat shield not quite finished up yet.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what Nada did quite a bit here. Now, there are Templar out, and he's going to need to make those into Archons because I don't think Storm is finished yet. Oh, and those charge lots so good against this. A stim from Polt. He needs to keep those tanks protected. Does he have enough DPS with these Marines?
Wow, the tanks just were obliterated. There's a fair number of bio units still out there, but every time they stim, of course, that is a little bit permanent damage until the medevacs catch up. There we go. Finally, the medevacs are starting to join that force.
Yeah, I mean, losing those tanks didn't help at all, but Polt controlled those Marines and Marauders well and was able to keep pretty much everything else alive. He does have a bit of a supply lead and a bit of an upgrade lead as well. 2-2 is going to finish before the 2-2 of his opponent, albeit only slightly, and I suppose if Squirtle focuses on chrono boosting that, he can catch up potentially in speed as well. But man, Charge Lot Archon, Pretty good against straight-up bio. The medevac's a little bit in front here. This is a pretty close game right now. This really could go either way.
All right, well, Polt is going to start rolling through here in a second. He did start picking off a couple more workers, it appears, yeah, with this Banshee, but it's down to just 8 hit points.
Yep.
But a total of 22 workers have been killed in this game by Polt, so well done there.
Now, here's the thing is there's a lot of money being spent on the Templar to be turned into Archons for Squirtle right now. That's going to really reduce the amount of sentries and things like that he can make in his composition, so he's not going to be able to do a lot of Guardian shields. He's not going to be able to force field up the army of Polt that effectively. So just the fact that Polt's been able to push a little bit, caused Squirtle to make so many Templar, which he had to turn into Archon, is really, you know, doing a good job of keeping Polt on an even ground with this army of his opponent. And here we go. It looks like Squirtle willing to commit here.
I love Polt landing this factory right here and forcing all the zealots through that space. However, Squirtle wrapping around the side, doing quite a bit of damage there, and he's starting to pick off the medevac count. At the same time, Squirtle's rolling through with zealots into the third.
Yeah, and he's going to kill a lot of SCVs. Oh, man, 2-2 just finishing right now for Polt. So he has a little bit of a window here if he chooses to turn around and fight, but he's not. He has to come home and defend against these zealots here.
Yeah, 8 workers were killed there, so evening up that workers killed by just a little bit. So it's 55 workers to 66 probes. However, there are a total of 7 mules now on the ground.
Yep. Now, I mean, Polt sacrificed a lot of the size of his bio army by making those tanks early on that really didn't end up doing anything. So that really is kind of hurting Polt's ability to be out on the map being aggressive. Squirtle knows that, so he went ahead and took that 4th base, and he does have +3 armor coming up now, so that's going to continue to reduce the effectiveness of the Marines in Polt's army here. And nice little position on the high ground there against that.
Very difficult for Squirtle to engage that, but it looks like he's going
up the ramp.
Yeah, running up there as he has a couple of units from the side as well. Maybe just wants to bait things back to the storm. Looks like he finally did deal with that Banshee, but he lost another 4 workers.
Oh, man, here he goes into the 3rd base. There are some ghosts out, but where are they? He needs to get some good EMPs on those Templar. Oh, the command center goes down. EMP on the Immortals. Will it be enough? Polt not flanking with his other force like he should be right now.
All the storms are gone, though, so a lot of the AoE disappears. They're just turning into Archons now. Polt actually going to surround this force, and he is going to start picking away at these Immortals as well. Yes, the last of the Immortals are going to fall, so Polt has a pretty good supply advantage, but he is down a base and needs to get one up very, very soon, and also needs to kill his opponent's bases.
That hurt a lot. Losing that 3rd base, Polt just getting zoned out so effectively by Squirtle. It's still a very close game at this point. Polt with a 50 supply lead, he knows he needs to counterattack. He needs to be very aggressive at this point because his opponent just lost an expensive army, probably won't be able to reproduce quite as quickly, but the first Colossus is about to come out for Squirtle. That may actually be the second. I haven't been paying attention to the production queue too closely.
No,
that is the first. Yeah. Okay, it is. So I guess I have been paying attention. But here it comes. Charge lots getting pulled away from the main force. If Polt can micro well against this, he could win this fight, but I don't know. It's so close.
Those zealots are so hardy. It's ridiculous.
And
the Colossus just dealing out so much damage from the back. Polt now on even supply with his opponent, but Squirtle is up a base, and he has not lost his 3rd this entire process. So Polt's still just struggling to recover his next base.
Yeah, that's a lot of minerals that StarTale Squirtle just had to use for all those zealots as well. So Polt has a pretty decent army here, and it looks like he is going to go for a drop. A bold move right in front of the observer. And Squirtle knows about this. No Blink Stalkers to take advantage of it, but it can continue to chase away these medevacs. Oh, but okay, there we go. I was wondering if he knew about that, but yeah, he's going to be able to chase away this drop. Fairly easily, it looks like. Well,
that's not a lot of units
here. Not a lot of
here.
zealots, I guess. Yeah, I thought I saw a few more when he dropped in here, but
still, Polt just voluntarily split up his army, and that's going to be pretty difficult for him to overcome. It looks like he's going to try and pick up a couple of units before they're able to come in and clean up this drop, but Polt has so few units to work with right here, and those zealots are just devastatingly strong.
Yeah, this is really great by Polt, though, to be able to cause his opponent to have to use a lot of these warp-ins at home and defend against this small force, and he does still get about a medevac's worth of stuff away. Still an even supply with his opponent. He's got +3 weapons, getting close to finishing. He's starting Viking production as well to handle those Colossi, but, you know, I mean, he's got a lot of these barracks up, but because of losing that 3rd base, he has not been able to use them as effectively as he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, especially because he's starting to get very, very mined out of his bases as well. His main is almost completely gone, but it looks like Squirtle wants to go for it. He's going around the side. The AoE from the Archon's proving to be very effective here, chasing away the first couple of units. Now the Colossi are up. One is about to go down, but it stays alive. Both of the Colossi have survived so far. They're finally going down, but Polt loses his entire army.
Yeah, that many Archons out right now, and with the damage the Colossi did, Polt's army is just looking way too strong or Squirtle's army rather is looking way too strong for Polt to handle right now. He's going to have to play on the defensive a little bit, but it's going to be tough, man. He's way behind on supply. I don't think Polt can hold this off.
Yeah, it looks like he's forced to throw out a storm there, Squirtle is, but now Polt is down by 50 supply. Only 18 of that is workers, so the army disadvantage for him is huge, and Squirtle's just going to roll on through.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's going to be able to just come right into this space with all those Archons, do a ton of damage. Could be controlling a little bit better. Not a lot of force in the front, but it doesn't matter. He's got way too much stuff. And I think StarTale is once again going to defeat TSL in a Team League situation.
What an insane comeback, though. TSL was up 4-2 at one point on the back of Revival, and Squirtle has come in and defeated 3 members of TSL in a row.
You know, Polt tried to go for that little bit stranger play. GG didn't work out, and StarTale.
Congratulations to them. They are the victors. They get the spot in the IPTL Premier League. They advance to fight an incredible miracle.